So yesterday I did a problem on ethics, and I used the trolley problem, which is kind of a famous experiment, thought experiment, where imagine yourself, you're on a bridge and you've got a switch. Now there's a train, they use the word trolley, but there's a train, and it's heading to kill 5 people. Now you're at the switch and you can flick the switch, diverting the train and saving those 5 people. But on the other track, there's 1 person. So if you flick the switch, you kill 1 person, but 5 are saved. I don't know why there's so many people on the track, but anyway, just roll with it. Anyway, it got everyone thinking, and it became a really hard problem to solve. It is an impossible problem to solve, but everyone's got their own version. So since it originated from philosophy, and philosophy is all about thinking, I thought about trying to apply a problem thinking methodology to this problem. So what we're going to do is use a modern day version of this just to jazz it up a bit. So what I've got as an example is you're a programmer and your job is to program self-driving cars. And programming is just giving a bunch of rules to something so it will follow in the event of a scenario. The scenario I'll use is similar to the trolley problem. So you've got to program the car for the possibility that it's driving at speed limit 100 kilometers per hour on a mountain road, one way, single lane. On either side there's a long, very, very long drop. Right? Around the bend, 5 people crossing the road. Your car doesn't have time to stop in time. So you need to program one of 2 things. You turn the car or you go straight. They're the only 2 options. If you turn the car plummets down the very, very long drop and you die for certain. Right? There's no way around that. So the driver dies. If the car goes straight, all 5 people die. So what we have to do is program the car. In that situation, do we make the autonomous vehicle go straight or do we make it turn? So let's apply problem-solving methodology to this. I'm going to test the Edward Debono's thinking hats concept first. So apparently there's 6 thinking hats, or 6 ways that people think that are conducive to coming up with a really good outcome in decision making. The application of each hat sort of has its own strength, and in collaboration you come up with a kick-ass outcome, in short. So the hats are the white hat, which is all about facts, red, all about intuition, yellow is looking at all the positives in something, black is the counter where you're looking on the negatives or the bad sides of doing it, kind of the risk-adverse sort of side of things, the cautious people. Green's all about the creative, or the crazy kids, and blue is all about maintaining the process to ensure we get the best outcome that we can. There are different ways to structure this, and the blue hat, the process hat, would decide on the best structure. But I'm going to use the sequence I've explained. I'll start with white and end with blue where we re-examine the process. So let's begin. Using and applying only the white hat. What I'm going to do is think of the facts. So I'm going to consider all the facts. Who is the driver? Who are the people? The people criminals? Are they children? I mean, if we don't know the facts, then we say these are not facts and we can't rely on them. If there's a chance we can go and explore and get more information, we do. But what facts do we know? Are there any other options? No. I guess, will everyone die if we don't turn? Yes. Will the driver die if we turn? Yes. All right, so we've got 3 facts. They're all the facts we have to begin with. Think of some more if you want, but that's what I've got. Now, did the white hat help? Arguably, yes. I guess it's confirmed the parameters. It's got us all on the same page. We've got less ambiguity, and we've stated what we know. So that's off the table. Okay, so the white hat does help. It frames the reference, so we're all on the same page here. Now, applying the red hat. The red hat is all about intuition. So when I did this yesterday, that's all that came out. I think we should do this. I don't believe we should kill 5 people. I think blah, blah, blah. This is really important because we want to get our gut feel out there. Do this quickly. So, for example, quickly, what should we do? Should we program it to kill the driver or save the driver? Go. Once you've got your gut feel, just write your answer below. Write red hat in front of it, just so we can all see, where you're at when you're thinking about this. Do that before you look at other people's thoughts. So just go red hat, save driver, or red hat, kill driver. Write your own thoughts down. Did the red hat help? I guess commonly this is how most people approach the problem. And it creates this cognitive dissonance, this conflict between their intuitive brain and their rational brain, which I think so many people struggle with this very application. Because intuitively, you know what you should do, but rationally, there might be a different set of terms. I guess it also gives structure because no one's going off track, no one's thinking about ways to solve this or creative solutions. Everyone's just using their gut, so at least, we're not going off track. And good pun there. Sorry, you should wipe that out from your brains. Also gets emotion off the table. The negatives of this in a group, it can create bias. So especially with groupthink and conformity, if someone says something, you kind of start thinking, well, that's what everyone else is thinking. Maybe I'm wrong if I want to save myself as a driver. So that's probably one negative thinking about the application of the red hat to this problem. Yellow hats, we're looking at the positives here. So what are all the good things about each option? So we look at option 1, turning, the good things. Well, if we turn, we're going to save 5 people. Well, 4 because we die. We won't get sued. They won't come after our family and kill us. It's the noble thing to do. Positive is not turning. I guess it promotes to the people buying autonomous vehicles that you'll be safe. The car will look after you, making everyone buy one. Oh, God help us. The car will also be useful after that, most likely. It's only hit pedestrians, we can still drivable. It'll promote not crossing the road on blind corners, I don't know. Look, I do have a heart, so forgive me for these. It's actually hard thinking about positive in either scenario. If you can find some positives, again, yellow hat, write your positives down for either one. Did the yellow hat help? It was painful. It was actually quite painful. So thinking of having positives to this problem is painful because I guess when presented with this, people think of the negatives. So it's probably a useful exercise if something looks, disastrous, to actually make us think of the positives in each side of things. It also helps us see both sides of the argument. It helps us see, why other people think it's a good idea. I guess to prevent our own bias, getting us to think of positive ideas will be much stronger than relying on other people's positives because of our natural tendency to fight it. So make yourself think of some positives here. Black hat, okay, devil's advocate, everyone's favourite. So here we look at the downside of each alternative. Really the combination of the yellow hat and the black hat kind of makes like a pros and cons analysis if you think about it. So negatives with turning. Well, we're actively killing the driver, the person who bought the car, who owns the car. There could be other dangers. There could be a village at the bottom. So if we turn the car, it lands in the village, kills a heap of other people. Negatives with not turning. Okay, this is a little bit harder. I don't know because I introduced a double negative or what, or maybe the problem is my optimism bias. I always think of positives. Negatives, having to live with the guilt. So if we don't turn, we've got to live with the guilt. Living with the shock, we've just killed 5 people. I don't know if you can erase that from your brains. Having to clean up 5 bodies on a dangerous section of road. So that's kind of negative sort of thought. Again, write black hat in the comments and write your own negatives. Did the black hat help? To be honest, it was hard, just like the yellow hat, and partly due to the nature of this exercise, I guess, but it made me think differently. It made me try and go against my natural optimism bias and see some negatives, which in real life are the risks. They're the things that come back to bite you when you don't consider them. Especially like me, if you just think, we'll solve it as we go. So I think from that point of view, it's good. It also helps you, get in the mindset of the people who are generally negative about things, because then you're thinking about it for yourself and you say, look, I see where they're coming from. I understand their concerns. Now applying the green hat. This is an exhausting exercise. Green hat's good. We can wash away a lot of this morbidity here. Here we're considering divergent thinking. So all the creative solutions that we can apply to this. Can we equip the car with parachutes? Can we have an outside airbag so if it falls, the driver's protected? It kind of makes like a bouncy ball. Given most people carry cell phones, can we use some sort of integrated technology that can sense a cell phone around the bend and slow the car down? So think of crazy ideas here. Even if it's not practical, even if it's not possible, it may actually spur someone's thought and they might actually come up with a good solution. Did that help? It was cathartic. It made me feel good about the exercise. And I guess it's important to balance the energy in the room, because coming from all the negatives, you might just think, look, we're screwed. So coming up with a chance to think about creative options and solutions, I guess it gives us some optimism. And it might give us a sense of, look, we can't solve it now, but in the future, there is hope. Finally, the blue hat is establishing the process. I guess I implemented the blue hat by explaining the way I was going to do it, white hat, red hat, and so on. So if you want to get into semantics, the blue hat did come first in my process. I guess now go through areas where you feel there's more to add. Are there more facts to add? Should we go and research some more things? Should we start thinking of some creative solutions to offset the negatives? That kind of stuff. Basically, we're directing the next approach until we're happy we've considered all the options. Another good point with the blue hat is making sure everyone's had a say. I generally find it's the quiet ones in the room that aren't, I guess, extrovert in nature, that often have the great ideas, but they just don't feel they're allowed to say it. So maybe direct it and say, look, what are your thoughts on this? And have a circular discussion, or get people to write their points independently before you introduce the group mentality. So applying the blue hat, feel free to do it yourself. Feel free to apply the blue hat, maybe make some suggestions as to the process you'd use, how you would do it differently than I did. Yeah, that's it. Hopefully it's worked out well, and hopefully it's made sense. Hopefully you've understood the thinking hats concepts and you've understood an application to an insolvable problem. In your comments below, remember, try and use a different type of hat. Put red hat, I think we should do this. Blue hat, I'm out. Blue hat, mic drop is gone.